I have Anthony Grasso, Diane Harrington, and Jen Plotsky for the film Crumb Cake. Guys, how are you doing today?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So, Anthony, you directed and produced and co-wrote with Diane.
I didn't co-write. She's the writer.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just director, producer. One of the producers.
Okay, yeah. And then Diane, you wrote and produced. Yes. And then Jen, you were producing as well.
Yeah, my producer and producer. Yeah.
Can you guys tell our live viewers a bit about the film before we dive into questions?
Well, I'm gonna let you do it because that's your film.
It's basically a story of three sisters who come to their childhood house after their mom has passed away, and they deal with their conflicts, their differences, their love for each other, and things that come up with their mom and their childhood as well.
Okay, is that a like a personal, like, do you have, like, what was your inspiration for writing this script?
I do have two sisters, and it is based on three sisters, and I play the older sister, as you know, in the film. There's only some things that I took from that I borrowed from real life. My mom is, thank goodness, alive and well, so she's still with us, and it's loosely based on my sisters and I. There's some things you borrow, and it's also a combination of me. I kind of broke it up into three different characters, and I don't know, it was just kind of like a tribute to women, to sisters, to family relationships, and
sibling dynamics.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yes. And you say you are one of three?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'm one of two, but I do have friends who are one of three, and I do feel like there is a completely different dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's really interesting.
I think Jen is one of three too, right?
Oh, really?
Yes, three other sisters. Yeah.
And we always find it fascinating because I have three siblings. I'm one of four, and I always laugh how we're all so different, and we all came from the same house and the same womb and the whole bit, but we all managed to find different things and navigate life differently, and so that was such a really interesting premise coming from my wife and knowing her sisters and her family dynamic and honoring that, and so that was great. And it was also a play. It was a play. It was a film, then a play, and then a short. It was like she was writing a feature, and then she made it a short one act, and then she made a short film from the one act, but changed it a little bit.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that.
And I got to direct the play version, so I really felt very connected to the piece.
And the two actors that were in the play version are in the film version because our chemistry was so good that we decided to keep it going.
Yeah. And their names are Carol Ann DeMarco and Leanne West. And then we approached Jen because I've worked with Jen on The Long Commute that was there last year. And we worked really well together. With Dinah act together. She's a great actress, not for nothing, but you're a great actor. So it was a no-brainer, and she jumped on, and I have to say, of the many times I've worked with different people, it's beyond pleasurable. She is like on it. We actually gave her a shirt that said "on it." No matter what we needed, she'd be like, "I'm on it," and got it. Yeah,
got it. I got it.
That was it. Got it. But she just. We shot this during the pandemic, so we had literally 8 people, including the cast.
Yeah. When during the pandemic did you film this?
This was in May of 20.
It was the first weekend in May of 2021.
Yeah. So the pandemic was real, and we had to have testing and the whole thing was very safe. We basically lived at the house we shot in, so no one actually left, which was great. And the cast was of 5 or 6, and including me, 7, and then the cast. So it was like 10 of us.
You mean crew?
Right, crew. I mean crew.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, crew.
Because I was like,
I need a drink. Crew. Too early.
So, how would you say COVID affected?
Well, it
everything?
delayed us.
It delayed us twice.
Yeah. Yeah,
A lot.
because we were supposed to shoot in April 2020, and then we rescheduled for September 2020.
Mhm.
And then the location changed based on the fact that,
Health
um,
hazards.
yeah, so that was a concern. And
Yeah.
and then just the delaying of post and all of that stuff came into play. So
The thing that was nice about it though was that we kind of, because it was May of 2021, that was during, if we can all remember our timelines, there was that first dip that was happening in COVID, and everyone sort of naively thought like we were coming out of the pandemic, and we were like, great, we can kind of go back to work. And at that point, everyone was getting vaccinated, which was helpful for us and a lot of
Yeah, just got vaxxed. Yeah.
yeah, so everyone
Yeah.
was vaccinated, and like Anthony was saying, we all stayed in the same. It was like theater camp. We were all staying in the house. We had this beautiful house in Cape May that we shot at. That's our location, but luckily it's this huge house, and everyone could stay there. So
Yeah.
like he was saying, like no one was leaving and exposing themselves to anything. So it was really it was terrible to get delayed so much. I mean, that happened to so many people. But it worked out really well in that sense of the timing and the location kind of working well for our COVID, the restrictions.
And Jen was our COVID, personnel. She was our producer. She was everything. I mean, everything.
Well, we did it
Well,
that
like
way because, really, it was definitely life imitates art, and it was definitely a family affair. And we kind of wanted to keep it as small as possible because of COVID. So I was like, well, I am very, very familiar with doing, wearing multiple hats on a set. So I was like,
We sure did.
fine to just kind of take care of a lot of the things so that you could have
as well.
less bodies.
Yeah, she was taking photos. She was cooking. She was running.
I made eggs.
It was crazy. I mean, I have to say it was an amazing experience. First off, it was working with my wife. That was our first time really us together working with
Doing
her on camera, because she worked
Right.
on my film
Right.
when I was on camera, but you were producing, and she was also involved in taking care of the production. But this time I got to actually take care of her and see her story come to fruition. So that was awesome.
Mhm.
That was great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if you have any other.
You said you turned this into a one act. That's so cool that you got to turn it into a stage play.
Yeah, it was really interesting because I wanted to get back into being on stage, and I wanted to be involved with this theater company. And I initially was just going to be the writer and, have the actors in the company, because I wasn't involved in the company yet. So I was just going to submit my play. And Anthony looked at me and he said, "What are you crazy? This is your story. You need to do this." And I said, "Oh, okay." So I got involved. And when I first did the play version, there wasn't really a beginning, middle, and end because it was a short play. So I had to make it a short play. So there was some things that were turned around for it to make it a short play. So it had the beginning, middle, and end. So I borrowed some of the stuff from the play version to enhance the short film version. So it was kind of like they were all kind of intertwined together, which was kind of cool.
And it was different.
And then it also became a published play, which was,
published, yeah.
So
but it's
I
also
was
a different
like,
name.
Published author.
Yeah.
It was really
But it's a different name though, too. It's called For My Mother in that one.
For my daughter.
For my daughter. I get it. I'm gonna not say anything. For my daughter, and I know we're a comedy team. But for the film version, for me as a director, I have to say it was a pleasure that it was the same cast that did the play, because they already had sort of like a rehearsal process, where in most films you don't get. So they really had such a running start because of that. Even though we went back and did more rehearsals for the film, because the ending changed, and there was a whole thing about the crumb cake, if you will. When you see it, I don't know if you've seen the film yet, Emily, but It's a lovely film, and it deals, with simple things that we all would remember in our childhood, and things that trigger you. And I don't want to give away the plot, but in the film version, uh, their jobs were, I think, ironed out. If you talk to anyone who's done a play on Broadway and then made it into a movie, they'll tell you they had 100 performances before they got to shoot.
Right.
Here, they had at least 5 performances and over 20 rehearsals. So that in itself is amazing, because Jen will tell you we've done hundreds, not hundreds, but maybe 50 shorts, and independent projects over the last 6 years, and there's no rehearsals.
Right.
There's no rehearsals. You get maybe a read through or two, and then you show up. You better be memorized, right, Jen?
Yes.
Right? So that part of it was awesome. For me as the director, as the maestro, it just really helped with things. And we shot that in 2 days. 2 days, 21 pages, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm doing one now coming up, and it's going to be 3 days, and it's 18 pages. 3. So we lost a full day and crammed. So we didn't get a lot of extra takes. But again, they were rehearsed. So a lot of the performances was there.
Right.
And,
And the good thing was we didn't have to change locations, which made it really helpful. I mean, it definitely, like, we were all looking at it going, this is really ambitious, but the fact that we did have a very tight crew and one location helped significantly. Yeah. And like Anthony's saying, that everyone was, really knew what they were doing going into it.
Yeah. And I have a great crew. I have to mention, Miguel Garzon Martinez. He was my first AD. He was my director of my last film, The Long Commute. So we have a really great shorthand, and he was also our editor. So I really wanted him on set, because it can help, see how things are going to cut. And then we had a trusty DP who I worked with like 16 times, Teru Nakashimo. No, Nakoshubu. I can never say his name right.
Nishishubu.
There, Nishishubu. He's an incredibly talented DP, and I turned him on to a lot of new friends of mine's work. He just shot 2 features for them. So it's just it's nice to be able to share, your crew and the people you respect. And we're very, very gracious that you guys are, accepted us again this year, and we get to do this with you. This is awesome.
I mean, the Garden State Festival is so happy to have you back. How many times now have you submitted to the Garden State?
I think since 2017, I had a film every year. Yeah, I had a couple of films. Like this one, I have 1 year. I have 1 this year. I had 2 last year. I had 3 the year before, and I had 1 the year before that. So about 8 films, 9 films. It's crazy. I know.
I think this is year 4 for me, and I think it's my 6th film.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is my first film.
As
an actor.
As an actor, writer, producer.
Yeah.
Okay.
But for The Long Commute, I was a producer on that and a script
supervisor. Yeah. Consultant.
Yeah.
Well, since you're all so experienced and seasoned in this, this artistry of film, is there anything that you would like to say to filmmakers that are watching, to people that are newer to it, that could gain from some advice?
Sure. Jen, you want to start, and then I'll go after if you want. I don't.
Sure. I mean, I think for people starting out, it's really important. Like we were talking about earlier, like, me wearing a lot of different hats on this set. I think it's important and helpful to, when you're working on a set, to really like stand back and take a look at what everybody's doing and what everybody's job is, because I think, not that you need to learn everyone's job and be able to do all of them, but it's important to have an understanding of everything that goes into making a film, because it's a lot of working parts and it's a lot of people. And I think that it just gives you a better understanding of the entire process, everything that goes into the making of a film from start to finish. And I mean, the more of that you can soak up, the better. It just makes you a more well-rounded artist and filmmaker.
Absolutely. And then I'll piggyback on that. I've now directed 5 films, and each time it just gets a little easier because I have the right people. I know who I'm calling on, but I also teach acting. So for me, I'm an actor who directs. I've never considered myself just a director. I'm an actor who directs. And I tell my students this. I go, if you have an idea, fulfill the idea and surround yourself with people who are making art, who know what they're doing, and then combine resources. I didn't have a dime when we first went and did the long commute, and we did a fundraiser, and a couple of angels came on board, and one in particular just really financed mainly the whole film. And I didn't even know if that was ever going to happen. So I think what I'm getting at is have your idea and push it forward, and then you'll see it become something else. And it's exciting to take something from nothing, and just an idea, and then to see it on the big screen, and that you did that. And I will say, you definitely call Miss Plotsky.
I don't know. She's producing.
I know she's acting way more now. So get her while she's hot.
Thank you guys so much for taking the time with me today. I so appreciate it. And know our life. So guys, come see Crumb Cake at Asbury Hall on Saturday, March 25th from 2:45 p.m. to 4:45 p.m. Diane, Anthony, and Jen, it's so great to see you again. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks so much, Emily.
Thank you so much, Emily, and I'll see you there. We will see you there.
We'll see you there. Bye, guys.
Bye.